Let's talk about the 10 books I read in April. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kirtana and I love to talk about books. I read a total of 10 books in April. In today's video, I wanted to talk about each book I read last month and tell you whether I would recommend them or what I rated them and what my thoughts for each of them are. So let's just jump right in and talk about all the books I read last month. Disclaimer, I don't have a single physical copy of the books I want to talk about because some of them were from the library, some of them I read on Kindle, and some I actually did read from my own collection. But I am in the middle of moving and the first thing I did was pack my books because I wanted to see how much space it would take. It did take a lot. But yeah, so they're all packed in boxes. My bookshelf's empty, so I will not be able to show you physical copies of any of the books, but I will put photos of each book that I read. So the first book I read in April was The 24-Hour Ascent by Elvira Solen. So this I actually received as an e-arc, so I read this on my Kindle, and thank you so much to the author for sending me this book. So the premise of this book is actually really interesting. It's about 8 employees who work for this company, and they all receive a message one morning saying that they have to report to work at a certain time and use a certain elevator, only that elevator, and they have to go up to some floor to meet someone or something like that. So all 8 employees show up, they get into the elevator, and once they get into the elevator, that's when things start to go crazy. So it turns out this is actually a test of sorts, and each of these 8 employees have to reach the 40th floor by going through many levels. So the elevator takes them up to a certain floor. After that, they have to like go from room to room, and each room is like a different sort of escape room situation where they have to solve clues so that they will be able to escape that room and then move on to the next room, and then so on, and then they have to keep going till they reach like the 40th floor or something. I think that's their like final target. So the premise actually I really liked because I thought it was so cool to have like this whole escape room kind of situation but with different levels, and like all 8 of them actually don't know each other. The company is big, they barely know each other. I don't even think most of them have even seen each other, but now they all have to work together to reach their like goal. So yeah, it was actually really interesting, but unfortunately I did not really enjoy the writing in this book. So I actually really liked the story. I thought it was the plot was quite intriguing, and I was very curious to see like where they would go and how they would reach there and the different levels and stuff. But at the same time, I found the writing to be like slightly confusing at points. So because of that, I couldn't really like get into each character's head. So I couldn't like really empathize with them. I was not really connected to the 8 characters. So keeping all that in mind, I gave this like a 2-star because I did like get so confused in between. I didn't understand who was talking at a certain time, those kind of issues. But story wise, I thought it was really interesting. Unfortunately, since I couldn't really feel what the characters were feeling and I couldn't really empathize with them, I ended up giving this a 2-star. The next book I read, I also received as an e-arc from Humbright PR, so I did read it on my Kindle. The book is The Wildcard by Piper Rayne. This is book 2 in the Dugout series, which is basically a sports romance series, and the sport is baseball. This is an accidental pregnancy trope, which I know is widely hated. I know a lot of people hate this trope. I am not one of those people. It's not my favorite trope ever, but at the same time, I would not read a book just because it is a pregnancy trope. I do actually enjoy quite a few accidental pregnancy books. So this did not deter me from wanting to read this book at all. So this follows Callie and Foster. Foster is Callie's brother's best friend. Now Callie's brother and Foster and everybody are in a baseball team together. Callie and Foster end up having a one-night stand together, and Foster is known as this broody baseball player who has a reputation. He's known as a playboy, and like he's very commitment phobic and those kind of things. And now after Callie and Foster end up having a one-night stand, Callie finds out that she's pregnant, and she thinks that Foster is obviously not going to be of any help. He's probably going to run in the other direction. But Foster steps up and he actually like wants to be there, wants to be very present, and they end up like living together. So we have a little bit of forced proximity. I actually had a great time while reading this book. I finished this book in less than 24 hours. It was really quick read. It was also like things just kept happening. It was very bingeable, so I actually really had fun. I also really like the side characters. I haven't read the first book in the series, but after I read this, I really did want to read the first book. It was a nice, fun, spicy baseball romance, and I gave this book 3.5 stars. I had a good time. I mean, no complaints from me. It wasn't the best thing I've ever read, but at the same time, it was fun. Like, it was really fun, and I at any point did not feel like I was getting bored. So yeah, I thought it was a good book. The next book I read actually started in March. I did 75% of it in March, and I only had the ending left, and I finished it in April, and that was Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I did this on audio, and if anybody has not read this book or like not watched the movie and wants to read this book, I would highly recommend the audiobook. The audiobook was brilliant. I loved it, and I in general really love this book. I gave this 5 stars. So I did read 75% of it and then go watch the movie, and I ended up like completing the remaining after I finished watching the movie. I enjoyed the movie, I enjoyed the book. I think both were 5 stars. I would really love to rewatch the movie. That's how much I loved it. I don't even know how to explain this because it was just such a brilliant book. The audiobook, the narrator was so talented. The voices he did for like the other people, oh my god, no, the accents he put on, it was just brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I'm sure everybody already knows what this book is about because the movie came out. So this in very simple terms is about a scientist who finds himself on a spaceship, and he is the only person on that spaceship, and he has to find a way to solve one of the problems that is currently like happening in our solar system, which if it escalates could cause millions of people to die on Earth. So he's kind of like on a mission to save humanity of sorts. So he has to like figure everything out on his own. The plot is so interesting. At the same time, his character growth throughout this book is so good. The ending, no, I cried a lot while watching the movie. I cried while reading the audiobook. I thought this was just phenomenal, and if anybody has not watched the movie or read the book, I highly suggest you do it. And if you do want to read the book, like I said, do the audiobook. You will not regret it. The next book I read was Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. I got this book from my library, so I did already return it. That's why I don't have it right now. I did talk about this book in one of my previous videos. I will link it up if you guys want to check it out. This is a thriller, and it was highly rated, and I feel like a lot of people who read thrillers recommend this book. So I was very intrigued to get into it. So basically, without giving away too much, this is about a woman who gets a job to nanny for a 5-year-old child, and once she starts nannying for the child, she notices that this child starts drawing like really creepy pictures, which makes her wonder what is making him like draw these pictures. So she like tries to find out what is actually happening, and as the story progresses, right, the pictures just get creepier, and like the circumstances of the pictures get creepier. Like everything, the book in general is just so creepy. It gave me like goosebumps at certain times, but I actually enjoyed it so much. If you have the physical copy of this book, I don't know if it's there in the ebook, but in the physical copy of this book, all the pictures that are drawn are actually there in the book. Like there are illustrations, so you can actually see them, which makes the whole experience even more creepy, which I absolutely loved. I gave this book 4.5 stars. I actually had a great time with this. It was a thriller I read recently that I actually really enjoyed, because I feel like it's been a while since I've actually really enjoyed a thriller, but this one I absolutely enjoyed. I loved the plot twist. I just loved the whole like storyline. I liked how it was like how it flowed together, and it kind of like made you go from like, oh, this is just nothing, to like, oh my god, what the hell is happening? This is so creepy and I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's like paranormal or if it's just not, and I don't know. You have to read this. If you like thrillers, you should give this a go because it was really good. After that, I read Love Overboard by Kandi Steiner. This one just released in April, and I received this as an e-arc from Humbright PR also. So I did read this on my Kindle. I was very excited for this book. Like this was on my like want to read for the month. So I was incredibly happy when I found out that I actually got the arc of this book. But I don't know, I think my expectations were just too high. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, but it was not a bad book at all. So this book follows Ember and Finn. Ember is like a chief stew and Finn is a chef. They are both given this opportunity to work on this yacht for a season where it'll also be filmed like a reality TV show situation. But Finn and Ember are actually exes. They had this crazy relationship, I think about 2 years prior to this filming, and it ended really, really badly. And Ember never really got over that. So when she steps onto the yacht and finds that Finn is the chef, she obviously panics, and now they are both like, it's forced proximity kind of, because they both have to live on this yacht for this entire season, which is like I think a couple of months or like 3 or 4 months, and they have to work with each other. At the same time, they are going to constantly be on cameras, so you can imagine whatever can go wrong possibly goes wrong. I thought the premise was really like different, and I love a second chance, so I was very excited for this. But for some reason, I think the first 50%, like literally, I'm not kidding you, like for the first 50% of the book, I was bored. You barely even got Ember and Finn together, so for the first 50%, I was really, really annoyed. But after that, the next half actually picked up and a lot of things happened, and it was very, very interesting then. But because I was kind of bored like the first half of it, I ended up giving this book 3.25 stars. It was not my favorite, but it was fun once it really picked up. It is also really, really messy. Like, I don't want to tell you why it is. Like, I feel like you should read it to know. So if you don't like messy, toxic relationships, probably stay away from this. But otherwise, it was fun. They had a lot of those elements where they show you the filming part and like the interviews that they give to the production crew and stuff. So that was really, really like fun to see. The side characters were actually really, really fun. I don't know how it would be on audio. I don't know if that would be interesting, because I think it might be, but I did read this on my Kindle, so I'm not really sure. But all in all, I thought it was an okay book. I don't know. I mean, not something that I would ever want to reread, or not something that I was crazy about. I honestly forgot most of it once I was done reading it. I just remember being really annoyed in the first 50%. But yeah, otherwise it was okay. And yeah, 3.25 stars. Okay, now we have to get to the good stuff. I'm so excited for this next book. The next book I read was Bat Bishop by L.J.Shen. Oh my god. Oh my god, like I don't even have words. I am so obsessed with that book. I'm still thinking about that book. It's become, I think, more than 2 weeks now since I finished it, but I cannot stop thinking about this book. This is a dark mafia romance, and it's part of her new series called Society of Villains. And this is the first book. So this follows Tiernan and Lila. Tiernan and Lila are both from opposing mafia families, and Lila goes through something that was traumatic, and because of that, her father kind of forces her into an arranged marriage, as is with most mafia romance books. So she's arranged to be married to Tiernan, and that's how like the story starts. There are a lot of things going on between both of them also. She has some secrets which he uncovers later on, and Tiernan is Irish, which I think again maybe on the audiobook might be really good. I really want to do the audiobook next so that I can just relive the whole thing. And also, he's completely unhinged. He's psychotic and he's unhinged, and he does some crazy things, which, I mean, it is a dark romance, but yeah, I absolutely, absolutely loved. He is so, so morally grey and so crazy, and he just like, his like, I don't care attitude, I absolutely loved. And his humor, excuse me, like the humor in this book, I laughed so much at his inner monologue. Even when he talks sometimes, he's just so funny. Like, it's not your normal joke funny. It is kind of like a dark comedy of sorts, but I loved it. I loved their relationship and how it grew and the things they learned for each other. Oh my god, no, this book was absolute perfection. I have not read a dark romance recently that I was this obsessed with. I'm so obsessed, like I said, I want to do the audiobook. I don't mind rereading the book again because I absolutely loved it. Tiernan is now my #1 dark romance book boyfriend because no, just you have to experience it to know how amazing it is. I'm like forcing my friend to read it right now, and she's also having a good time. Disclaimer though, please do read the content warnings, and the first chapter in this book is really, really gruesome, but it gets better. Like, it's not as bad as the first chapter after that, right? Like, the first chapter might really stop you from reading it, but I think you have to just like get through it, and once you do, it's like fine. Like, it never really gets as bad as it does like that one. But Oh my god, I really think everyone who reads dark romance, guys, it's not for your fluffy contemporary romance readers. People who like dark romance, 100% you have to give this a go because it was so good. No surprises, I gave it 5 stars. I am absolutely obsessed with this book. I do have the physical copy, but unfortunately I don't have it with me right now. If it also has like a really nice artwork in the first page, so if you guys can get your hands on it, you should check that out. But oh my god, no, this book was completely worth it. And the second book in the series is already out, and I think I'm going to read that in May. I did talk about it in my May TBR video, but yeah, this one was just excellent. Then I read Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonam-Young as my book club pick. I did read this physically, like I do have the physical copy of this book, but again, don't have it right now, so I can't show you. This is another accidental pregnancy romance, but this is not like your other accidental pregnancies that you will read. I think even people who really hate the trope actually like this book. Like I've seen so many people who absolutely hate the accidental pregnancy trope, but they love this book. And even in my book club, the general consensus was everyone loved this book. This was such a good book. I was so glad that I read this. I can't believe I've not read anything by this author before, and now I want to read everything she has written because this was just so heartwarming and just so beautiful, and everything about it was just so nice. I did not want to put this down. I read this also in under 24 hours. This one follows Win and Bo. They meet at like a Halloween party and they really hit it off. The banter in this book, oh my god, from the first scene, I love the banter. Every time they talk to each other, I was just giggling, kicking my feet. And they're both like quick-witted people, so they like throw lines back and forth, and it's so funny and just so nice to read. But yeah, they meet at a Halloween party, they really hit it off, and they end up having a one-night stand. And now, like a few weeks later, Vin finds out that she's pregnant, and then she tells Bo, and Bo, being the absolute sweetheart that he is, he says, I'm all in, and obviously they kind of like navigate the next phase together. It was so good. Bo is like the ideal book boyfriend. Like there's nothing he does wrong. He has like zero red flags. He's just so perfect and so sweet and so supportive and so amazing. And when I really liked her character too, like she had some trauma and she obviously had to get over that to like move on with her life. And then she like, it's so beautiful to see both of them just heal throughout this book. It was just them healing and preparing for this baby. And I thought this book was very well written. The story was so good. The characters were so good. Bo was incredible. Yeah, I gave this book 5 stars. No surprises there. I actually had a great time, and now I want to read, like I know one of the side characters in this book has her own book, and I really want to read about that, and I want to read everything that Hannah Bonam-Young has written, so because it was just so good. Also, she is a Canadian author and this book is set in Toronto, so it was really nice to read like about that too. There are quite a few Canadian references also in this book, so you might really enjoy that. But yeah, I think in general, if you are a hater of this trope, I think you should still try this book because I think you may like it, because it's just a good book. It's a really good book. Then I read Guess Again by Charlie Donlea. I did this on audio and the audiobook was good. I would recommend. This is a thriller. This follows Ethan, who is now an ER doctor. He previously used to work as a detective, and it has been 10 years since a local girl went missing. She was also really like in the news a lot because her father was like a governor or something. But yeah, anyway, now it's been 10 years since she went missing and nobody found out why or how or where she went. Like there were no answers and the case went cold. Now 10 years later, the father actually enlists Ethan again to find out what actually happened to his daughter. That's how the story starts. So Ethan now works in the ER. Before he was a detective who had like 100% solve rate. That's why he is asked to like reopen this case, and he starts following leads, and so many crazy things happen in this book. This is multiple POV. There are many POVs in this book and you will have no idea where the story is going from one chapter to the next. It absolutely threw me for a loop. I thought this was very well written. I also felt like this would make a really good movie. Like, that's how it played in my head. It was really, really addictive, and the plot twists were really good. Like, I did not see those things coming, especially the final plot twist. I definitely did not see that coming. All in all, I thought it was a really good thriller. I gave this one 4 stars, and I actually really liked the author's writing style, and I think I want to try like more books by this author. If anybody has read anything by Charlie Donlea, please do like leave your recommendations. I would love to like try more of his books. I'm so happy I actually read 2 thrillers this month, which I actually enjoyed as compared to like the rut of really bad thrillers I was going through. But yeah, these 2, Hidden Pictures and Guess Again, I actually had a great time. They actually shocked me, which is what I really like, and the story was very fast paced and things kept happening. Those are the kind of things I kind of tend to look for in a thriller. I also really like it if I cannot predict the ending, and I've read so much and watched so much that thrillers that I feel like now I can mostly see them coming. So if it still shocks me, I am absolutely floored, and I absolutely love the book or the movie. That's just how I am right now, and I actually enjoyed both of these quite a lot. Okay, then I read Chasing the Fire by Paisley Hope. This is the last book in her Silver Pines Ranch series. I read this book on my Kindle, and I was so excited for this book because I actually really like the series. I think it is sort of underrated because I don't see so many people talk about it. It's a cowboy small town romance series. The only book I thought was not that great was the first one, but each one after that I actually really enjoyed. This one too, I had a great time. I gave this 4 stars. This is also an accidental pregnancy book. I don't know what it was with me in this month, but I read a lot of accidental pregnancy books. But I was very excited about this because you see these 2 characters from the first book, right? So this book follows Asher and Olivia. Asher is the town fire chief, but he also moonlights as the bartender, and he also does woodworking on the side. So man has many jobs. And Olivia is like the town boutique store owner, and Asher is kind of like throughout the whole series always shown as this mysterious broody guy who nobody really knows what's going on with. He also seems like slightly dangerous, which obviously made me wait for this book. And yeah, so in this book, Olivia and Asher, so even from the beginning they've always alluded to both of them having like some sort of chemistry, and this book starts off with like them being forced into situations together, and you can see the chemistry between both of them, and they like hit it off so much. And then just one day they end up having like a one-night stand, and she finds out again few weeks later that she's pregnant. She tells him, he decides he's all in, and you know, again you have the forced proximity and things like that. But I had such a great time with this book. As with every single book in this series, I read it in under 24 hours. The spice in these books are insane. The mouth on this man, the things Asher Reed says, oh my god, like no, it's insane. It's really insane. The only thing I did not like was his nickname for her. One of his nicknames for her. He does call her Kitten, which I'm not a fan of, but he also calls her other things which I was a fan of, so I was willing to overlook that part. But it was just such a cute story, and it was just, I really loved this man. He was one of my favorite men in the series so far. I did not like Olivia's character that much because I feel like she was not like, there was not much about her, but his character was really explored, and he has like a traumatic past which is like later revealed in the book and stuff. I thought this was a really fun read, incredibly spicy, small town romance. He's like a firefighter, so that was pretty hot too. Yeah, it was just fun. It was just so spicy and so fun, and I was really happy with the way this series ended. I thought this was like the perfect ending. Even the last chapter when they talk about all of them, it was really cute, and I had a really great time. If you're looking for a cowboy romance, I highly suggest you try this series because it was really fun, and you have like a lot of other bits in it too, because in the first book he's like an ex-hockey player, so you have a little bit of that. Then you also have like a pop star cowboy book where she's a country pop star and he is like the cowboy and stuff. But yeah, so you have like many different tropes also, and all in all, this series was so much fun. This was an excellent end to the series. I enjoyed this book. I actually had a great time, and like I said, Asher Reed needs to be studied and the things he says needs to be studied, but it was a really good book. 4 stars. I loved the series. And the last book I read in April was Shield of Sparrows by Devney. I've been wanting or itching to start a new romantasy series, and I picked this up again because I was buddy reading it with my friends. And oh my god, this did not disappoint. I was just so addicted to this book from page 1. So this is the story of Odessa, who is like the princess of the kingdom that her father rules over. This country of sorts, which is divided into different kingdoms. And this country kind of has like a treaty where they marry off heirs of different kingdoms so that they can keep the peace among the different kingdoms. So now Odessa has chosen to marry like this prince of another kingdom, and she was not expecting that at all. She thought it would be her sister who would have to. So she's thrown for a loop. She doesn't want to, but then she has to because it is like a treaty and they have to do it kind of thing. But yeah, that's how the story starts. I thought this was really unique. It's a very different world. I've not read anything like it so far. They have these magical, I don't even know if they're magical. They have like these monsters like the gods created, and all the people in this like world, they have to like save themselves from these monsters. That's like basically what they do all this for, like why they have this treaty and stuff, so that instead of fighting each other, they all band together to like protect themselves against these monsters. So that's how like the story starts, and now she obviously is taken to the other kingdom of the prince, and she has to travel there with him and learn about their world and things like that. And there's a lot of layers to it, but I thought the starting of this book and the ending of this book was phenomenal. Like I was so hooked. I did feel like the middle did drag a little bit. Because of that, I did not give this 5 stars. I get this 4.5 stars. But other than that, I had a really great time. You also go through about 50% of this book without knowing who the MMC is, because you have 2 people. Like you have the prince that she's married to, and you have like this guardian of the kingdom that the prince comes from. So you don't really know who the MMC is, and that was really fun too. And once the MMC is revealed, I absolutely fell for him. He was amazing. I really liked his character. Like he can be your new like romantasy book boyfriend of sorts. But yeah, I thought this book was really good. It's my first book by Devney. I know she normally writes like romantic suspense books, I think, but this was her first time into romantasy, and I actually really liked it. The plot twist at the end of this book literally had my jaw on the floor. Like what was going on? The whole time while reading this book, I honestly could not do anything else. I just wanted to read this like 24/7 because I needed to know where the story goes. Like I did not expect the turns that it took. I still don't know honestly where it's going. I think this is supposed to be a 3-book series. I'm not sure. I think so. And the second book is already out. I was reading a romantasy after so long, and I don't know if it was that or no, but it was actually really fun. And the story was just so, I don't know how she writes, like how Devney writes. It's just so, like it'll keep you guessing. After every chapter you'll have like a new theory about where this is going, because you won't know like where this is going or like what is happening. And I really love that aspect of it, like continuously guessing. And the ending absolutely blew my mind. Those were all the books I read in April, but today is the 29th and I am currently reading a book, so maybe I'll finish it tomorrow. I do not know, but I'll include it in my next wrap up if I do. But technically I might finish it in April, and that one is no surprises there. It's Rites of Starling, which is book 2 in Shields of Sparrow. I just started this last night, so I'm only about like 50 pages in, I want to say. And oh my god guys, like what's going on? Why is there a new POV in this? This one is multi-POV. The first book was only Odessa's point of view. This one is multi-POV, and there is a new character whose POV we are getting, which again I have no clue where this is going. Honestly, I really just love her writing so much because it is so like you have to guess, like you don't know what's going on. And yeah, that's everything I read in April. I think I had a really good reading month too. I mean, so far I think all my months this year have been pretty good. I've had a lot of 5 stars. I just think I'm having a really good reading year so far. I mean, not to jinx it or anything, but So far, I think I'm having a really good year and I'm enjoying most of the books I pick. And anyway, I'm not the most pickiest reader and I am quite generous when it comes to ratings. For me, basically, I like to escape into the fictional world. So if I have a really good time with a book, like if I enjoyed while I was reading the book, I generally tend to give it really high stars. I don't think too deep about it. I read to enjoy and to escape and to just live in that world. So if I had a good time, I generally do rate it well. And yeah, I had a really good time this month, I think, too, with most of the books I read. I am really excited to read Rights of Starling because oh my god, where is it going? Anyway, please do follow me on my Instagram and on my TikTok for daily book content, and don't forget to subscribe on here so you can be notified each time I post a new video. I post videos on Friday here on YouTube. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.